Welcome back to Boring Gear Reviews. Today we have an amazing new pedal from one of my favorite builders. This is the Lost Media from Blackskycraft. Massive thanks to Bradford from Blackskycraft for sending me his new pedal. If you've been around the channel for a minute, you might have seen I've done two other Blackskycraft pedals, and both of which are some of my absolute favorite pedals ever. His way of packing features in and making all of them very musical and creative and unexpected is like top level. And the Lost Media is no exception. Previously, I've done the Sun Bros and Unusual EAS, which are reverbs, and the Lost Media is a delay. I was super excited to hear his take on delay, and it did not disappoint. This is built on 3 PT2399 chips, and I maintain I think it might be the greatest delay platform ever made. What people do with it, how far you can push it, it can be traditional sounding, it can be super weird, it can sound clean, it can sound dirty. It's just amazing. All right, let's get into the controls of this thing. First up, we have time, and this will set the delay times. You can get anywhere from like chorusing all the way to long, gritty delay, like over a second. As is usually the case with PT2399 chips, as you increase the time, you degrade the echoes. And that breaking down of the repeats is such a gorgeous and musical sound. Next up, we have regen, and this will be the amount of repeats that you hear. Around 3 o'clock, you'll start getting into self-oscillation, and you can kind of teeter on that edge so it's always almost oscillating or go into, full-blown chaos. Next up, we have warp, and this is a big part of the pedal. This will introduce input signal or pick attack driven pitch bends, and this will control the sensitivity of that effect. It's super interactive with the time knob, so the longer the delay, the more noticeable the warps are, and the shorter, the less noticeable. In the second row, we have rate, which will set the speed or rate of the LFO modulation. Next up, we have depth, and this will select the depth of the modulation. Cutoff you can think of as like a tone control, kind of. It's the cutoff frequency of the filter. Immediately below that, we have our filter 3-way toggle. And here you can select between low pass, band pass, and high pass. And then immediately below that, we have our resonance control. This will, of course, control the resonance of the filtering section, but it is going to be very interactive with the cutoff and filter controls. In the bottom row of controls, we have dry. This will select the output of your dry signal. Wet will select the output of your wet signal. And anima is a secondary control that increases the kind of amount or exaggeration of the modulation. It almost adds like an additional delay time. And then we have this button at the center bottom of the pedal, and this will be your waveform selector. And we have 6 different waveforms to select from. And the way you'll know is that these 3 mini controls will light up in different configurations. On the side of the pedal, we have a 2-way toggle switch. This will be our tap control. The foot switch on the right is oscillation. So when you hold it down, it'll engage self-oscillation of the delay. There is an internal trim pot to adjust how sensitive or how aggressive that is. And then we have our true bypass foot switch on the left. For today's demo, I'm using my 2024 Parts Caster Concierge and Bagley number 3 with Avedisian sawtooth pickups. And then I'll be running into my Universal Audio Apollo X6 interface and then using the Softtube JMP 2203 amp plugin. All right, throughout this demo, we're going to be using the Moth Electric A Incurrupta for our drive. This is one of my favorite distortions. You can check out a full demo I did of it right up there. So that's going to be feeding into the Lost Media. Feel free to pause for settings. So because we have that warp control maxed out, we're really able to create a lot of crazy dynamics and kind of this like cacophony of bird chirpy pitch bends with our pick attack. One of the things I really loved about this particular setting is it creates this rhythmic response to my playing that I ended up playing off of. So with the warp maxed and both of the LFO controls maxed, it's a really wild kind of broken down, almost glitchy kind of artifacty delay signal that ended up being just really gorgeous behind like the somewhat clean-ish signal. There's an aspect to it that's both haunting and kind of chaotic. I really, really dug this sounds. Enjoy. Okay, so in this next clip, we're going to go for a pure wet signal, no dry signal at all. And what we're getting here with like a low delay time and a high regen is like a faux reverb. It's like a oil can delay slash reverb thing. It's a really gorgeous and a little spooky sound. So we're going to start in the waveform with all three of these knobs lit up. And then towards the end, I'm going to press that button again and we're going to go just to the last one. Using a delay to create a reverb always gives a very interesting and unique effect. And what I really loved here is the way it, because I think because of this resonance control, you can really dial in some awesome like harmonic feedback and richness that you definitely do not get with just any reverb. I love it. Hope you dig it too. Enjoy. All right, next we're going to start with a really high gain, kind of crushing tone from the A Incurrupta. Now I'll be feeding into the Lost Media, and here we're really going to be diving into using our pick attack to attack that warp control. Here are my settings. I really love having the dry and wet controls separate because you can find like a perfect balance where I can still play all this stuff and I can have this, cacophony of insane sounds behind me, but it doesn't step on my playing. At the end, I'll be holding down the oscillation foot switch to make a bunch of noise while I'm doing kind of more sparse, single-handed notes. It's an awesome sound. And lastly, we're starting again with the A Incurrupta, and that will be going into the reverb side of the Ancient Echoes from Wonderful Audio Technology. This is an awesome pedal that I also have a full demo on. You can check that out too. And finally, that's all feeding into the Lost Media. Here are my settings. So one of my favorite things with the PT2399 delay is a really long delay time. You get some grittiness, some artifacts, and the way this is kind of EQ'd and filtered and set up is stunning, especially because of how powerful the EQ section is. A little side note, there are delays with great EQs. You don't often get so much control over cutoff, the filtering passing, and the resonance. Like, you don't often see that. And because you do here, you have a ton of control, and it ends up being like a very powerful part of this pedal. So as these repeats are going, it's a little more muted, but there's still this kind of punch to it because of that resonance control. And it just makes for this gorgeous, like, it's the perfect blend of that kind of washed out tone rolled back delay, but with the punchiness if there was high end there. And kind of how gorgeous the LFO, the modulation, is just kind of like a wave going through, really makes this tone really rich and complex. Again, I'll be playing with the oscillation at the end, and this is just a sound I could play for days. Obviously, this is a little longer clip. I just got kind of lost in it. And that is a wrap on the Blackskycraft Lost Media. He doesn't miss. 100% of his pedals, 100% of the time, are incredible. The way he packs features in, I mean, look at this enclosure. There are, what, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 controls on a super small enclosure. All of them have a big impact on sound. It's unreal. I really love that he didn't do auxiliary controls, that like every control is separate and it's laid out so beautifully and perfectly. Yeah, this thing is killer. This is a fresh and unique approach to delay that is, it could be traditional, it could be weird, it could be ambient, it could be abstract, it can be chaotic, it can be very beautiful and pretty. It does like anything you want it to do. As with all of his stuff, I'm a huge fan. I cannot recommend it enough. The other thing I cannot recommend enough is subscribing to my channel and hitting the like button and the notification thingy. That stuff helps the channel grow, and I want the channel to grow, so thank you for doing that if you are so inclined. As always, links for everything I'm using are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.